I've been sitting here talking to everybody, and I haven't even been on here. Lord, help me, Jesus. I apologize. Let me start over really quickly. So, Keimani was 13 years old. She had prior CPS was involved prior to her missing. I'm not sure how long before that, but you guys should have told me I wasn't on here. That was really weird. I apologize. Okay, so she had went to school. She did have signs of abuse. They did contact CPS. There were 2 different occasions that CPS was involved. Grandma herself says that those CPS investigations were dropped, and she was taught other ways on how to punish Keimani, where it wouldn't seem like it was abusive. Grandma says, yes, I disciplined her. I absolutely did discipline her. Okay. And I'm sorry that I was on here 15 minutes not saying anything, you guys. That is my bad. My bad. I apologize. It's like WTF. Okay, so she went missing on March 18th. But Dad says that he went on the 16th to her home where she lived with her grandmother because she was scared and said she thought somebody was going to break in the house. He says that him and his cousin went to the home and sat there for over an hour and then left around 12:30ish. Okay? Now, Dad was charged with abduction. That was later changed to red rum after she was found. Now, on the 25th, after a warrant was issued for Darnell Jones, her father, also who went by the name Ogletree, right? He ends up in Columbus. So on the 25th, law enforcement and the SWAT team had been watching him for a couple days. They had been surveilling him. Needless to say, a battle ensued, and Dad was shot multiple times. He did live and is still in the hospital at Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is where he still is. But I don't understand if he said that they seen her on the 16th. Where was Grandma? She told him she was afraid to be alone. He said, I came over here because she said that it seemed like somebody was trying to break in the house. Him and his cousin sat there around till around 12:30ish. According to the abduction warrant, he was allegedly the last person to see Keimani. He further gave inconsistent statements about his activity with her and their whereabouts. Now, Keimani lived with her grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, right? And at that time, they did not know where Darnell was. But they did find him in Columbus, in an area called the Victorian Village, which is supposed to be a very quiet residential area in North Columbus. They still wonder why he was there. They cannot figure out, as of right now, why he was in that area. That is supposed to be a really exclusive area. But the SWAT team had been watching him for a couple days. He comes out, they fire at him, and he is hit multiple times. Like I said, he is still alive. And so he was first charged with the abduction and then upgraded to the red room. Okay, and I need to quit going down the freaking rabbit hole on these cases because I've got too much information here. So, as I said earlier, that you guys probably didn't hear me. Hey, Debbie. Police said investigators found her body on the second floor of an abandoned, burned-out house in Toledo. She had been missing about a week. Her birthday was going to be in a few days. She was also going to be receiving a kindness award from the school later in the week. And she had also recently been recognized as the school, she was on the school's honor roll. She sounds like a beautiful, good 13-year-old kid. Dad is freaking me out though. Okay. So March 25th, SWAT team gets Dad. I want to show you guys this. This is where she was taken. This is heartbreaking. Oh, wait, I gotta get my peace sign girl up there. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Okay. This is the house where she was taken. Grandma seems to think that Dad could have been grooming Keimani for quite some time. That's what Grandma says, and we'll get into all that, right? We will get into that. They do think Dad's going to make it, and I hope that she gets justice from this man. So sad. Okay. Let me, okay. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. Okay. This is a news report. This is from the 24th of March. This is Channel 13. That is her father right there in the middle. Okay, hold on, because I know you guys can't hear it. Hold on, because I have a lot of tabs pulled up, and sometimes when I have a lot of tabs pulled up, it doesn't come through. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Raindrops Lost. I got you, girl.
News.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
continue to follow breaking developments in the case of a
You
missing
should be
13-year-old
right
girl.
now, right?
Investigators finding a body on the second floor of an abandoned house on Miami Street in Toledo today and tonight. The coroner's office confirms it is Keimani Latigue. Her father, Darnell Jones, is charged with murder in connection to her death.
I wanted to make
Court
sure you
records
could
show
hear
he
it.
has an open warrant for his arrest. We have team coverage tonight as 13 Action News reporter Lily Lowndes takes us into the discovery on Miami Street. Lily.
Yeah, Christian, family members of the 13-year-old Keimani Latigue were heartbroken as they gathered in front of an abandoned home on the east side earlier today. That's where police say they found her body. The family of Keimani Latigue is in mourning.
So
they were
sad.
distraught on Monday.
This is a child. Where is she?
As a search for a missing teen,
I want answers, and I'm not going to stop until I get them.
Came to an end at this abandoned house on the corner of Miami and Wilmot. This is where Toledo police say they found a body on the second floor, a body they believe to be 13-year-old Keimani Latigue,
we do know
the teen who has been missing for more than 1 week. Keimani's mother, Tiara Caston, said it's a place her daughter never should have been.
I have no idea. My daughter, there's no reason my daughter would ever be over here.
I want to know how mommy would know that. I'm sorry, I'm not cutting mommy no slack. When I first heard mommy speak, all I heard was, oh, I have seizures. I've had 3 seizures today. Me. I. That was all I heard come from mama's mouth. How would you know, Mom, if that's somewhere where she wouldn't be or not? Inquiring minds want to know, lady. Sorry, you guys. This case just really pisses me off.
My daughter go to school, go home. Go to school, go home. She go play her basketball, come home.
Caston lives in Cleveland. The last time she saw Keimani earlier this month, they played video games and caught up. Caston said she did not know what she would do if she found out her daughter had died.
Yeah, her birthday's the 28th. She'll be 14.
A life cut too short as the Lucas County Coroner's Office identified the body found as Keimani Monday night. Police say the last person to see her was her father, Darnell Jones. Officers issued a...
These people, this man stood right there in front of the news. No, it wasn't a custody battle. No, Stephen, no, it had nothing to do with custody. I don't think so anyway. Not at all. Mom lived somewhere else. Mom had other children she was taking care of. The dad was allegedly coming and getting her on weekends and taking her home to be with his other family. He had other kids. Actually, I heard he had a newborn at home. He had a newborn child at home. That's what I heard.
Warrant for his arrest for abduction. Jones previously told 13 Action News he last saw Keimani on March 16th when she was afraid to be home alone.
Came over here because she said that if it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house.
The abduction warrant said that he's given inconsistent statements to detectives. Now, police have issued a murder warrant for Jones. Officers say Keimani was found with an apparent fatal injury. As the case continues, family members say they do not know what to think and are still searching for answers.
This whole thing disgusts me. I'm sorry, it does. It really does. So dad ends up getting into a pew-pew fight, a weapon fight with the SWAT team. They shoot him multiple times. He was injured. They say that he exchanged gunfire with the SWAT team, but I don't know. Now, where he was located was in Columbus, what was it, 140 miles south of where he was wanted at. And the SWAT team was not happy having him in their jurisdiction. So, give me 1 second, you guys, please. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I had made me a cup of tea and I forgot to grab it. Dad admitted. They say that Dad, and I have to say allegedly, Dad admitted to R-ing her and doing the damage to her neck. But law enforcement official came out and said that someone removed her hands. That says to me that, and I want to know, were her hands with her other remains? Were her hands with the other remains? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so let me get past Daddy getting shot. Okay, inconsistent statements. Dad was injured on, I'm not even going to call him Dad. We'll call him Darnell. We're going to call her Dad Darnell. Whether we don't even know, I don't think, if he was really her father or not. But the thing about it is, Grandma said that he stepped up and he was always there for her. Grandma even says she believes that this man basically had been grooming Keimani the whole time, is what Grandma thinks. I heard her say it. So he did. Okay, sorry. I forgot where I was at. This case is, there's a lot. There's a lot here, y'all. Okay. So it was interesting to me that the Columbus police already knew he was in the area and had been watching him for 2 days. That is really weird, right? And like I said, he was found in the Victorian Village, a place called the Victorian Village in Columbus. And it's a residential neighborhood, really quiet, kind of affluent, looking houses and things like that. They say that he pulled out a weapon and fired at them. They fired back, hitting him multiple times. He was transported to the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. And from my understanding, he is in stable condition, but had not been released from the hospital last I checked. So if he has, it's been really frequent. It's been recent. No other officers were hurt. That's going to be under investigation. People in the neighborhood were just like, wow, can't believe this is happening in our area. Now, I have another report from the Columbus Dispatch. This guy is kind of feisty. I'm going to say trigger warning. I'm not sure exactly what he says in this briefing. I know I've heard him speak in a couple other ones, and this guy did not like Darnell being in his neck of the woods. Let's put it like that.
We'll go out looking for you. This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town. I understand some of your editors won't let you print the word animal or view the word animal.
What is the big deal with them calling somebody an animal? He is an animal. I'm sure that I'm going to get add suitability, remain calm, add suitability. Well, guess what? Okay, I'll add suitability. How about this man, a 33-year-old man who was supposed to be the father of this 13-year-old girl. He takes her, he rapes her, he cuts her throat, he cuts her hands off, and he dumps her in a burnt out fucking house. How about that suitability? Tell it like it is. It's a fact. Allegedly, he did that. Allegedly. Sorry, you guys. This case has me feisty. This case is so messed up.
If people are more offended to how I'm describing him, how he treated that girl, that's on them, not on me. Again, I'm glad our officers are okay. Our SWAT are the best of the best. We just send a message. You murder somebody, do not come to this town. I'll answer any questions.
I want to live in this town. I want to live there.
Buck's a little speechless.
Yeah, I usually do that.
Do you know anything about what led up to the shooting?
I know they were looking for him. I worked the street yesterday, and there was a bolo put out yesterday about this, so it was on everybody's mind. The officers are circulating area, patrol detectives, they're looking for this individual. This is what SWAT does. SWAT goes out there. Some of them have uniforms, some are in plain clothes and plain cars. It's my understanding that they had a location on this suspect vehicle, and they did what they do. They circulated the area, they saturated the area of the short north, and one of the SWAT officers did find them. There was a confrontation. The individual had a gun. You pull a gun on his officers. We've said many times, this is the outcome you could expect. The officers shot him. It's my understanding he is in a local hospital right now.
Did he fire back?
I do not know if he fired back. I just know a gun was recovered from the scene.
Brian, can you talk about, you mentioned how obviously how dangerous this.
So this gets me. Did he basically want law enforcement to take him out? Was that his game plan all along? That they would take him out, he would not have to answer to anyone for what he allegedly did to this little girl.
Suspect was, how relieved you are that none of your officers or any of the nearby neighbors
100%.
were injured, given what it could have been.
It's my understanding this individual might have been walking around the short north area all night. You got not just a murderer, a violent murderer, a sadistic murderer in our neighborhoods is appalling. Again, thankful for the men and women of the Division of Police, our members, for going out there every day, finding these individuals and removing them from our street. I'm so glad nobody else was hurt.
I am glad. I am so glad that they found him quickly. They found him quickly. That guy just tells it like it is. I'm sorry. He does. He just tells it like it is. All right. This is so sad, you guys. That's where he left her. That's where her daddy left her. In that burnout house. There is just so much to this. So we do know that 2 different occasions, I believe the school contacted CPS. Okay. The whole community was very emotional, especially when they realized that there was the remains of a person. I think YouTube is broken. It's not showing a gift of membership, but it went through on my end. Did you get one today? Is that what you're saying? Did you get one from me today? Because I know Matt got like 5, bought like 5 memberships today. Thank you again, Matt. Okay, so I mean, everyone wants to know what happened to this little girl. So the little girl's mother, Tiara Costin, was at the scene and expressed her frustration about the situation before the coroner confirmed that it was, in fact, Keimani's. She stated, "I just want to know if it's my baby. They're still not telling me nothing. It's nothing to take a picture. It's nothing to let me know when the coroner bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby. You're not saying nothing." Do you guys agree with that? Do you really think, oh, you just sent one. Okay, if it went through on your end, yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't have showed up. That is really weird. But if you did it on here, thank you very much. I would think that it would show me. You know, it was weird. Somebody came into chat today and said something about they had sent a super thanks or something, and that it showed where they took it out of his bank, but it didn't show up to the person he gave it to. It was really weird. Yeah, I'll check. I'll check, Zena, and see if it did here in a minute. Okay, let me find where it was. Okay, so we all seen Mom, and I'm going to show you guys some more, news reports and show you guys what Mom looks like. And but do you believe that a coroner should show the remains of a victim to anyone at the crime scene? That's a great question. Do you think the coroner should show a victim to anyone outside of who's involved in the case and the investigation to anyone? That's kind of a food for thought there, isn't it? I mean, Mom said no reason that she should have been in that area of that abandoned home at all. I'm sure that I don't see her going into that house on her own. I cannot picture this 13-year-old girl walking into a burnt out house, going up the stairs on her own. I just don't. Not at all. Not at all. And Keimani, she would go to school. She played basketball at school. Then she would go home. Like I said, she was just getting ready to get an award, a kindness award. Let that sink in. A kindness award. She was also on the honor roll. She doesn't sound like she was a bad kid. Not at all. She does not sound like she was a bad kid. Maybe troubled, but you have to understand too. It seems that at times, and I don't know, there it is, Zena. Thank you, babe. There it showed up, Zena. Thank you, darling. It doesn't seem like Debbie, when I talked about this case before, Debbie had mentioned something about a latchkey kid. I thought latchkey kids were, they would come home and be home for a few hours or something before Mom and Dad got home from work. It seems like Keimani was home at night by herself. I still don't know where Grandma worked at. If anybody knows it. Oh, you had to close it and open it again? Oh, thank you, Zena. That means a lot. Let me pin you there. I'm going to pin you. Did you feel it? Did you feel that stick? I just pinned you. How sad. So I'm not sure where Grandma worked. Now, Mom tried to say she's seen her on the 15th when her daddy, brought her down to Mommy's house. Grandma apparently gave him permission. And she says that she just loved on her and played games with her, played video games. Now, we do know that Darnell was charged with abduction on Sunday, but after they found her body, they put a new charge of red rum. I don't even know why I'm saying red rum. I already had a moment and told y'all exactly what was going on with this case. So, they should have tore this house down. They should have tore this house down. But what happens is, whoever probably owned that property, I think I heard it was the dude, there was $4,000 back taxes on it. He was going to sell it for the back taxes. That is easy to do, right? Yeah, you missed my moment. You'll have to rewind. Be kind and rewind, Debbie Nelson. I was trying to add suitability is what I was trying to do. So I definitely got to go in and unmonetize this or they will come for me. They will come for me. I know it. So he probably didn't want to pay to have this tore down. He probably didn't want to pay the money to have it tore down, right? Okay. So, there was then a open warrant. We know what happened with the SWAT team. They swatted his ass like 3 or 4 times. And he is in the hospital. Like I said earlier, I have not received any information that he is out of the hospital and in a jail cell yet. Okay. So Darnell was the last person they believed to have seen her before she went missing. She said she was afraid to be at home by herself. Now, this goes in tune with what Grandma says she found. Okay. So Dad and his cousin, here's Dad. He's a real fucking winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Oh, hold on. I got to find him again. Oh, I lost his ass. Let me put the SWAT team on it. We'll find him. There he is. There's old Papa. Gave this interview. Knowing what he had done to her. Now, I have to say, allegedly, he arred her. Allegedly, he damaged her throat area. But I haven't heard that he admitted to removing her hands. So, but it kind of doesn't surprise me. It probably was him, allegedly, because I do believe that somewhere in his mind, he thought that if he removed her head and her hands, trigger warning, that maybe they would not be able to identify her. And like I said, I would like to know if her hands were found with the rest of her remains. And yes, remain calm is kind of over the top when she talks about some of these cases, but that's the way I am, and that's the way I roll over here. I am not apologizing. Sorry, but no. Now, I will show Grandma speaking to the news, but she said she lived. Now, see, this is all weird. Grandma kind of changed the story up a little bit here and there. So, Grandma said her name was Dorothy Latigue, okay? Said that she lived alone with Keimani. She said when she came home on the 17th, see, this is where I'm confused. When she came home, because don't forget, Darnell said that he's seen her on the 16th. On the 16th. And that him and his cousin left about 12:30ish. Well, then Grandma Dorothy comes home and notices that the house is not, there's something, things in a disarray around the house. She also said the stove was on and that she could smell the gas. Now, she said that Keimani's keys and glasses were at the house and that Keimani can't see without them. I have yet to see a picture of Keimani with glasses on. Has anybody seen a picture of this child with glasses on? Please enlighten me if you have. And believe me, I went down a rabbit hole. Okay, so, and then she says there's 2 dogs in the house. But she also proceeded to say that her glasses were in her underclothes by the couch in the front. And her pajamas were on the dining room floor. Let me repeat that. Grandma said glasses in the underclothes by the couch up in the front, and her pajamas were on the dining room floor. That was on the 17th. So I'm wondering what she was wearing. I wonder what she had on. And I wonder what happened in that house. I wonder what happened in Grandma's house. Huh. They still are not saying how many people are involved until the investigation is done. Law enforcement says, I can't tell you how many people are involved. That's a very interesting statement because I want to know where the cousin's at. Where's the cousin? Mr. Cousin, where are you? Huh. Here she is, you guys. There she is. There's Keimani. There's our, the victim. And she is the victim. Okay, wait. I got to get rid of some of these tabs. I'm surprised my computer. I need a faster, super duper AI computer where I can just say, "Hey, computer, do this." I could probably do that now, Yeah, I'm sure I could. I could set it up where I was just like, hey, computer, why don't you go live and da 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 da. Da da da. But yes, the Columbus SWAT team officer is the one who told us Keimani's cause of death. Grandma says it, that Keimani was 13 years old, soon to be 14. The birthday party was going to be basketball themed. I remember her saying that. And I also remember her saying, she said it, not me, that Keimani was a virgin. So what Grandma said. He did. And don't ask me why she said it. Because I don't know. I guess she thought that inquiring minds needed to know that. But thanks, Grandma, for letting us know that. Okay, so we do know how she passed. They are believing that Darnell is the one that we have to say allegedly armed her, removed her hands, and caused tremendous wounds to her neck. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would he do that to a little girl that he was in her life the whole time? What is that? That's my cat. I'm sorry. Come on, buddy. Dang, dude. Be like your sister. Be sweet. Hang around. Purr when you're petted. For real. Yes, very violent. But you know what that it kind of reminds me of? In a pedo way, in the grooming and stuff, and the unaliving right before a birthday or right after a birthday, Madeline Soto. Now, I know, yes, remain two different cases, absolutely. But I think with a lot of these crimes, in some of these cases, we can kind of see another case and go, wow, this guy is pretty perved. You know, you guys know what I mean. Okay. All right, let me get out of that tab. I'm all over the place. I am all over the place with this, you guys. I swear. Yes, Dad is Darnell. Hopefully, will see his day in court. Darnell is being charged with 3 separate felonies, including abduction, felonious assault, and murder. I'm just going to say it. Murder. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How can we correlate Keimani's life from a kindness award at school, honor roll, going to school, coming straight home, living with grandma for the last 5 years, getting in trouble from grandma. Grandma says that her disciplining Keimani, she did not consider that abusive. But what did Darnell and his cousin do for over an hour before they left around 12:30ish on the 16th? And I'll tell you, Columbus SWAT was on it. They were on it. They were going to find him. He was a dangerous, dangerous man. And whether it was Columbus or wherever he may have went, thank God that they found him quickly. Because if a man will do that to his daughter, could you imagine what he would do with any other child? Yes. Yeah, Debbie, you're right. Such hate. Could he have been grooming her? Absolutely. Absolutely. He could have. He could have been grooming her for years. Now, grandma was placed in handcuffs. Okay. And basically, grandma said that she got a phone call, people contacting her, saying there was a mob out in front of her house. They were threatening to cause her harm. She called law enforcement. They sent someone over, and grandma got the idea, hey, just put me in handcuffs and take me out. I'll let grandma answer that when I find the, here it is right here. Okay, let me get this pulled up. This is what y'all been wanting to see. So let me get it ready for y'all. Okay, hold on. Hold on, little whippersnappers. All right, I'm going to say trigger warning, y'all. This is from WTOL 11. They have been doing a lot of the reporting on this case, so you guys please check them out. All right, here we go. Trigger warning. This guy's a badass. Oh, you're not getting no sound? All right, let me fix it, sweetie. I got it. Thank you for letting me know. Like I said, I got a bunch of tabs pulled up, and that really causes a problem sometimes. There we go. You should be able to hear it now. Okay, here we go.
We're working to gather more information
There you
about
go.
a shooting
You should
in
be able to hear
Columbus
it
this
now.
morning that may be connected to Keimani's murder investigation.
Trigger
The
warning.
president of the Columbus Fraternal Order of Police says a man who was shot by SWAT this morning is wanted for a murder of a teenage girl here in Toledo. However, neither he nor a spokesperson for Columbus Police would confirm if that man is Darnell Jones. Here's what the FOP president had to say.
When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you.
We are working right now to confirm if the man shot this morning is Darnell Jones. He's wanted for the murder of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. And just a short time ago, our Silver Barker exclusively interviewed Keimani's grandmother and legal guardian.
Here comes Grandma.
And then Keimani's aunt. Here's what they both had to say.
And her aunt.
So my first question for you, yesterday, lots of things going on. We want to know specifically at your home, there was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier waiting to see if it was Keimani that was in the home. And basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested.
I'm sorry. Why would you think that just because, okay, maybe she thought if they put handcuffs on her that they would think that she was in jail, so they would stay away from her property. Maybe that's what she was thinking.
I was taken downtown, but I was never arrested.
Are you scared for your safety right now?
I am.
What are some of the things that you've been hearing and receiving from people?
They said they was going to blow up my house. They said they was going to do harm to me. It's just been a barrage of different things.
I do want to say this. We don't know what part Grandma could have even played in this. But what is very sad is if she had no part in it, no knowledge of it, what is happening? She's being threatened. And I'm sure she is frightened. And not only that, how is she able to grieve her granddaughter? And I remember the other day when I was talking about it, right? Somebody said something about Grandma didn't cry. Well, Grandma's probably pissed off. Not only is she pissed off that this monster took her granddaughter and did something horrific, a person that had made her trust him, not just someone that just came into their life. Darnell had been in her life for a long time. So, and then she's getting threatened. So, yeah, that pisses a person off. And I don't understand why other people feel that they have a right to her emotions. Does that make sense? I might be a little harsh, but does that make sense?
That they've been stating.
And now, yesterday, or, let's backtrack first for a little bit. So you are the guardian of Keimani, or you were the guardian of Keimani, correct?
I am the legal guardian of Keimani.
Okay. So in terms of taking care of her, when was Keimani placed under your care?
A year ago.
So you take care of her.
She's
Now wait. She's saying Keimani was placed in her care a year ago. That's what she just said. Okay, hold on. Listen to this.
When was Keimani placed under your care?
a year ago.
A year
So
ago.
you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years.
She's been in the home for the past 5.5 years. But she just obtained legal custody. So why wouldn't she have just said that she's been with me for 5 years, 5.5 years? Okay, let's hear. I need to hear the question that the
Of Keimani.
Okay. So in terms of taking care of her, when was Keimani placed under your care?
A year ago.
when was she placed under your care? Am I misunderstanding this? She was placed under her care a year ago, but yet she's lived with her the past 5.5 years. And maybe I'm taking what she is saying wrong, but okay, all right.
So you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years, but I just obtained legal custody of her a year ago.
Were you and Keimani close?
We were.
What were some of the things, you know, trying to think of her and paint a memory of her in a good light, you know, right now with everything that's going on, you know, what was Keimani like? Tell me a little bit about how Keimani was in the time that you've got to know her.
Keimani was phenomenal. Keimani was a helper. Like she was older than what she appeared to be.
And you're right, Debbie. Nothing but good things said about this little girl. And an animal takes her within a short period of time. The thing about it is we don't know how long she had actually been in that burnout house, right? We don't know exactly how long she had been in the burnout house. All we know is they found her almost a week later after she went missing. So as of right now, we do not know how long she had actually been deceased, right?
Like, you know how they say somebody has an old soul? She was that. She loved older music. She loved playing video games. She loved the friends and family that she was allowed to be around. She played basketball for Spring Elementary. She was highly intelligent. So I'd like to clear.
Was she just getting ready to go into high school? Well, no. Elementary. She would have been in middle school. Oh, did the school go up to like 8th grade? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Clear up the mental issue statements. No, she was not mentally ill in any way. We had her, you know, assessed, and they didn't feel as if anything was wrong with her mentally. So that was not a issue. But back to Keimani, she would, like, say for instance, someone would come over and they had children. They didn't have to worry about their kids because Keimani immediately embraced them and would play with them, you know.
Oh, that's sweet.
Kid stuff. She was phenomenal. Like I said, she was like no other kid her age.
What school did Keimani go to?
She went to Spring Elementary.
And we were told that at that time she was doing good in school as well too, correct?
She was. She had brought her grade point average up from a 3.4 to a 3.9. And, you know, actually they were going to have an award ceremony for the basketball players today at 5:30. But when I divulged to them that she had passed, they've rescheduled it. She was going to receive her trophy for being, you know,
Wow, that is so
on the team and
sad.
stuff.
That is so
And
sad.
she has a birthday that's coming up, correct?
Her birthday is Friday.
And she would have been turning 14.
She would have been 14.
Did you have any plans for her
Wow.
for her birthday?
We were going to have her a large birthday party because it would have been her first birthday where, once again, all of my children were together and could participate in the party. Her mom was supposed to come and everything. So I asked her early on, what type of party do you want? She said she wanted a basketball themed party. So that's what I bought. Things that revolved around her playing basketball. I'm still receiving stuff in the mail for that.
Wow.
So there's been some confusion now in terms of when it comes to family, you know, who's her biological father, who is her biological mother, and then also was she in the foster care system? Can you clear up a little bit of all of that? You know, when Keimani was placed in your care, you know, when is the LCCS? Who exactly did she come from, and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian. I choose not to state her name, but she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Keimani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed when early on, because she's been with this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Keimani.
Mom has never really had custody of Keimani. Grandma's best friend is Keimani's mother's godmother, who took control of Keimani at 9 months old. So between godmother and grandma,
so she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago. Now, off and on, this person, we would interact and, you know, do different things with her, for her, or I would contact her and tell her, well, I need this, or Keimani would like that. And she would come by and oblige, and we would commence.
Grandma and godmom of her mother took care of this girl, took care of Keimani together.
It's just too much.
Earlier you mentioned, when you were talking about what Keimani was like, you know, you had mentioned that when family members did come over, who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around, and those that did, you know, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay.
Whoa. Grandma didn't like his question. Grandma didn't like this question. So Grandma says that it wasn't the family members that came around, that they just didn't, some of them just didn't come around, but Keimani still accepted the children, even the children that were not good children. All right. Somebody explain that to me. That's just what she said, right? Raindrop loss. There are many, darling moms that don't take care of their babies. Many. Many parents don't take care of their babies. Lord help us. Okay, that is what I heard. So I have to rewind that a little bit because that's how I am.
When family members did come over, who were allowed around her? Do you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around. And those that did, you know, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
She acted accordingly. Grandma's not happy with this question. What happened, Grandma? What happened, Grandma? What did the bad kid do, Grandma? Right? Do you guys want to know what the bad kid did? I want to know. Okay, beside the point, I guess.
So now we do know that Darnell, people are looking for Darnell Jones right now. The police are looking for Darnell Jones, and there's an arrest warrant out for him. Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
Oh, well, to my knowledge, he was just arrested in Columbus. He just recently had a shootout with the police in Columbus.
Yes, he did.
They're saying that he confessed to her murder, and no, I take that back. They're saying that he confessed to her rape and slitting her throat.
Trigger warning.
How does it feel to learn that?
I can't even say.
As the police report mentions, Keimani was last seen with Darnell. Do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with Darnell?
I do, only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
Listen to what she just said. Listen to what Grandma just said. Grandma felt like he meant to do this.
Last seen with Darnell. Do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with Darnell?
I do, only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. You guys gotta give me a minute. I'm sorry. Give me just a minute. All righty. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so Grandma seems to think that it was done intentionally. That he waited and done it on purpose.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading up?
No, I never saw anything out the ordinary. But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret. And then eventually they pounce.
I want you guys to listen to that one more time, whether you want to or not. Grandma's either had a conversation with somebody who has given her the facts, or she has known of this before.
Her.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading up?
No, I never saw anything out the ordinary. But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret. And then eventually they pounce. And that's how I feel. That
Grandma feels the whole time that Darnell has been showing Keimani any type of kindness, buying her things. Grandma now feels that she believes he had been grooming her. And if you don't think that these sick individuals will not choose a child from a very young age, stay in that child's life, and basically groom that child. You guys have probably never heard this, but maybe you have. Did you know that in some trafficking situations that a person will buy a child from their parents and they will pay for that child to go to school? They will pay for the child's clothes. They will take care of that child while the child is still living with the parents. But they have access to that child anytime they want it. Any time that they want that child, they will have access to that child. Just a little tidbit of info there.
Oh God, how all of this is played out, I feel that's what happened. She was a virgin. She didn't like boys.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to.
Grandma is telling us that whatever Darnell did to her was violent, and had to have been violent to Keimani. Had to have been violent. 13-year-old girl. Grandma's saying she didn't even like boys. And Darnell takes that from her. And not only does he take that from her, but he takes her life also. So sad. This case is sad, you guys, but it's a true case. This stuff happens. It's so sad.
address those and get those addressed. But there's comments online and speculation again that, you know, Keimani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I.
So basically, Grandma's saying, look, I disciplined her. I whooped her ass. I whooped her ass. I didn't beat her ass. I whooped her ass. I think there's a difference between a whooping and a beating. And Grandma's saying, yes, when she did wrong, she got punished. Now, how far that punishment went, I do not know. All I know is at one point, she reported to the school. Keimani did, that there was abuse in the home. Okay? But 2 different cases, Grandma says, not substantiated.
I felt like it. I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSP or CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them. And you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say the latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
And so you say the latest. So was it a few times that they came into your
It
home?
was twice total.
So twice total that they came into your home to check. Okay. And it was all for just like you mentioned, what you just said earlier.
Yes.
Explaining. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of, you know, this whole situation, so you were not arrested, correct? And that's
Correct.
what, you know, a lot of people seem to think as they saw you going out and cuss. That's what you asked.
Well, you're lucky. In my day and age, you got backhanded. You got the shit knocked out of you with a slipper. Maybe something thrown at you. Had to go out and get your own switch. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
We all made me tough as nails. It did. It did. I'm tough because of that. I'm something because of it. Sure am, sure am. There is a commercial. So let's see if we get through the commercial. There we go. Sorry about that.
That is going on is just, it's devastating.
This is
You
the
would think that, you know, you see it happen around the world, but when it hits close to your heart, you really just be thinking like, did I do something wrong? Did I fail her? She didn't have the life to live that we have got to grow and live. She was only 13. So to know.
Yeah, are you talking about Grandma having different people coming and living in the house, Debbie? Is that what you're talking about? Inquiring minds want to know, Debbie. For real, for real. That Grandma, there was different people living in and out of the house. Yes, we'll have to wait and see if that's hearsay or not about Grandma having different people inside and out of the house. But if this is a question I have, if there were, so you know what that does? That opens, I mean, look, if Darnell already admitted he did all those things, he set himself up right there because he said that he went over there with his cousin because she was afraid somebody was trying to break in the house. If grandma had someone actually living there, number one, I'm sure the police already know it, and they've already been questioned. And I believe that law enforcement would have stated that they felt that it could have been someone else who committed the crime. But why wasn't anybody there with her? Right? So having unsavory people over at times is different than actually letting them live in the home, right? I mean, do you feel like there's a difference?
Know that somebody that I trusted, which was her father, to come through and deceive us just to get to Keimani in some sexual way or a harmful way, that hurts me to the fullest. And the point I feel like I failed her, me as being her aunt, a person that she could run to and tell anything and everything to. That was my girl. That was my baby. And to hear all of this, to know all of this, and to be going through all this and hearing it for as long as that it went on.
See, and what I want people to understand, I do know that she lived with grandma, and godmother of mommy, took care of her. It was a team effort there. But it doesn't mean that there weren't other family members who cared about her. Just because they didn't live in the house doesn't mean that there was no form of communication with anybody else. I heard they did live in the home, but it was rumored by people who claimed to know the grandma. Yeah, unfortunately, until we can get that verified, I have to say hearsay, Your Honor. Hearsay, Your Honor. But we'll hear about it. I mean, if it's true. But that sets up a defense for Darnell, doesn't it? That kind of sets up a defense for Darnell. Darnell said she was scared somebody was breaking in. I was there till around 12:30ish. Grandma's got unsavory people living there, hanging out there. That sets up a little bit of defense for Darnell there. But allegedly, Darnell admitted to his crime. And I only wonder if he allegedly admitted his crime was because he thought he was going to die and he was going to go meet Jesus. What do you think about that? You think the animal wasn't thinking about, I'm going to die and I'm going to go meet Jesus? Let me confess my sin before I go? Well, guess what Jesus said? Jesus said, you ain't going to die, mister, because you're going to pay for your sin in a prison for the rest of your life. I don't know if they have the death penalty. Do they have the death penalty in Ohio? I don't know. I'd have to ask my daughter. Anyhow, y'all know what I mean. You know what I mean.
It's very devastating. I see so many people that are supposed to be my family that's going against my mom and me for that instance, and saying like, oh, she failed her, she had something to do with it, she had this and that. It doesn't matter at this point. For right now, and until we get justice for Keimani, it's all about Keimani. What I would like to say is there's a lot of people on the internet starting GoFundMe's, and that's not what we need right now, because it's not what Keimani needs. The funeral home has objected to say that they're going to come and pay for everything, so there's no need for any GoFundMe pages, any of that. Everything is being taken care of that needs to be taken care of by her family, her immediate family.
Does it upset you that there are GoFundMes? Some of them, I think, in cases might be scams too, as well. That are going around.
What upsets me is that people are starting these GoFundMe pages.
Okay, so before I finish this out, we have to talk about some messages that Grandma says were sent to her. They were messages where someone claimed to have someone said they had Keimani and that they wanted a ransom of like $4,000. Now, what some people are saying weird about those messages is because when you're having a conversation with somebody through text and stuff, I think in Messenger too, it shows up a different color. These messages they all stayed the same. It was more like one conversation instead of two different people having that conversation. So a lot of people thought that was weird.
Then putting Keimani name underneath it, and they know that it's going to get viewed, and people have sympathy and feel some type of way about that. And some of them can be scams, but I know some of them have come from family members. When just let the immediate family handle that. Like, what y'all gonna do with the money if y'all not turning into the funeral home? There's no need. Let us handle it.
Calling their asses out. Don't be asking money for this baby. Let the immediate family handle it and let it go through the funeral home. It's what she is saying.
Y'all just sit back and give us the emotional support that we need. That's what we need right now. As a family, as a community, we should all come together and just give each other the emotional support that we honestly need.
I like her.
And that's just what I asked for everybody to, calm down, breathe. I know this is a hard time because it's not just a hard time.
She is so right. They need the emotional support. They need emotional support. This should be a time when the family comes together and they're there for each other, not sitting at home trying to make money off of a little girl's name. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying, she is saying they need emotional support. They need emotional support from the community. They don't need individuals coming to their home, standing out front of their house, screaming baby killer. I'm just saying.
For y'all, this is a rough time for me. I just need y'all to come together and understand that we need each other as a community, as a family, and emotional support is what we need the most in this situation.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yesterday, the crowd was, yesterday you were here, I'm assuming, the crowd was very upset, lots of emotions going through too, especially at this time with such a sensitive situation. We've heard multiple comments out in the crowd, attacking or pointing fingers at your mom. So, what has it been like trying to be her support system and helping her out?
In a way, you have to be mature enough to decide, am I going to follow along with the crowd or am I going to, stick around with the loner? I'm to the point where I'm not following nobody. I'm going with what's right. If it was your mother, if it was your niece, would you console your mother? Would you console your, the person that was closest to her who lived with her? I'm not out to have a torch and the pitchforks and all out to go against anybody except the person who did this, which I believe was her father, Darnell. I don't have any other anger pushed towards anybody else. I'm angry that this happened, but I'm angry at the person who did this.
She's so smart.
Do you know if
smart
have you been in
girl
contact with Tiara, the mother?
Yeah, I've been in contact with my sister. It's been briefly. It's been over through text. Like I said, I
is
live
the
in
funeral home
Indianapolis.
donating
I
too?
seen her yesterday, but that was very brief. It wasn't even more than 5 minutes. It was more or less that she wanted to show me my other niece, Kazaria, which is Keimani's youngest sister. But it wasn't like it was oh sis, what are we gonna do? Any of that. And
Wow.
I don't wish this on nobody. I really don't. I could, your mind go different places when it's a baby. That was a baby.
So mom got with her to see Keimani's younger sibling, but she doesn't feel that Keimani's mother was there on an emotional level. Does that make sense? I'm almost done. I know everybody's getting bored. I'm almost done.
Like I said, I have a very close relationship with Keimani. She was a tomboy. She wasn't out looking for, trying to be fast or, mischievous or any of that. So for her mother to come down and have all this to say and all that, Tier, where was you for the past 4 years? We haven't seen you since Keimani TikTok party.
4 years they hadn't seen mom. 4 years they had not seen mom. Oh, I misunderstood, Debbie, because I thought she said that they will take care of it, is what I thought she said. I could have been mistaken, but.
You haven't called her? You haven't sent her anything?
Hadn't
you
called
haven't
her?
said, oh, baby, I'm going to come get you for a weekend? We haven't seen you until this happened. Why we got to see you when it's a tragic moment? So, Tiara,
why did she say? Why did mom say that dad had just brought Keimani to visit her? That's what mom said. Auntie is saying, no, no, no. No, ma'am. Wow. Okay.
Where do you stand?
And Tiara lives in Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
And so the past 4 years, you're saying there was very little communication.
Very, very minimum. It wasn't even, she'll call my mom. She'll go through me and say, have you talked to mommy? And I'm like, no, about what? And she'll say, oh, well, she got custody of Keimani and she trying to get child support from me. So it wasn't that Tiara was concerned about Keimani. It was more of why she want child support from me.
Mic drop. Probably because she was your daughter and maybe your mother needed help. But that's beside the point, right? You, ma'am, said that you had just seen your daughter, and your sister is saying, no, you didn't.
What is the relationship between your mother and your sister, Tiara?
It's very distant. They had their words. They fought. Keimani mother has a godmother that Keimani was with before my mom got her. And there was no communication then from Tiara. I feel like Tiara just let her go. Because any mother would be
That's
on
sad.
her toes to get her children back. That wasn't the case here. It just wasn't.
When was Keimani taken away from Tiara?
I'll say about 7-8 months. And then Tiara godmother stepped in and got custody of Keimani, which would have been around 9 months. Yeah, and Keimani had been with that lady from 9 months all the way up until about, I say, 5.5 years ago. So it wasn't like Tiara was actually in the picture, saying, hey, maybe I can start getting myself together to get my child back so nobody else can get hurt.
Have you ever worried for Keimani's safety with any of the family members or anyone?
I wouldn't say I was worried because I was here. I was here every winter break, spring break, holidays, birthdays. I was here for Keimani. Yes, you come and you enjoy time with your family, but I was here for my niece.
Wow.
I also brought my youngest sister and her 2 kids from Indianapolis to be here for Keimani because we've been in the system before. So I know how it feels to feel like, dang, I'm at somebody's house or not feeling not wanted. I know those feelings. So I tried to give Keimani that at all times because she wanted and loved by her aunts. And this is just devastating that I have to go through this for the rest of my life and knowing I'll never have the embrace of my niece, the, hey, TT, what you doing? When you coming down here, you know, I'll never get to hear that from my baby again. And that's what kills me the most.
This little girl's aunt is coming on here and saying things that Keimani's mother should have been saying. These are things that a mother should have been saying. Yeah, it seemed like they were in the system before, but it also seems like Grandma was trying to take care of Keimani. So I don't know what Grandma went through in her life, but it seems like that she was trying to give Keimani a home.
I just wish that when I was down here last that I had just taken her to Indianapolis with me. So this would have never happened. A lot of things, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the end of the day, I just really wish that whatever happened and whoever did this, y'all didn't have to do that to her.
No, they
There's
didn't.
plenty of people out here with, you know, grown people that put themselves out there to be, you know, the sex workers or whatever it may be. You didn't have to do this to a child. There was nothing that Keimani would have done to make you hurt her. So she was a very timid kid, you know, tomboyish, you know, reserved. She wasn't, you know, loud and you know, out there. So it's just devastating that that me and my family have to go through this.
Wow.
You would like to add at this time in the interview? That I didn't ask, maybe.
I just want people to understand that family is family, and at the end of the day, don't be so eager to go against your family. Talk to your family and talk to the children. These children may be scared to talk to the parents about things that's going on or what may be going on because they feel like they may get in trouble, but make it known that to your kids that you can talk to me. Make it very open. You can talk to me about
This
any
girl
and everything.
is so
Because
smart.
that's what these kids need to hear nowadays. Instead of going on social media and talking to somebody over social media about it, like he did this or she may done that. Talk to your family because they can handle. They're the adults that's supposed to handle it.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's forever Keimani.
Wow. Wow. This is where he left her. 13 years old, getting ready to turn 14. They haven't said if the actual unaliving took place in this burnout house, but this is where she was found. She was raped. She had her hands cut off and almost decapitated. Somebody, it seems like, thought possibly that they would leave her in a state where she could not be identified. Maybe the removal of, and I'll say trigger warning, the removal of the head was too much. They thought it would be easier to remove it. From my understanding, it's not easy to remove. She was going to get a kindness award at school, a kindness award on the honor roll, and had a birthday coming up. And I can guarantee you, she did nothing to deserve this. Nothing. There's nothing in the world that could make this child deserve anything like that at all. Now, one thing I'm going to say about these text messages, and there's a channel called T Styles, and I'm not going to, I just want to show the text messages. So please check out this channel. This is allegedly the text messages yeah, the house had caught on fire 2 different times. 2 different times. Now, she said these possibly weren't in order, but I'm just going to read them to you real fast. It says, I'm here. This is about business. If you respect my amount, I will return it to you right now. Question mark, what? That's right. Here I'm asking for the amount of $4,000. That's the business you can have with me. So tell me if you're interested in reaching an agreement with me, or I will take her to the border. Send me a picture of her unharmed. You have my amount so we can fix it. You have my amount so we can fix it. How do we know you have her? Send us a picture of her unharmed and we can discuss the $4,000. This does not look like a 2-sided conversation. Keimani's okay. Give me your location. I need to talk to her, please. Who is in charge of the situation to agree and meet in public place? To give it to him. I am. Meet where? Look here. What happened is that my people picked it up. What I'm looking for is to return it to you. As long as you don't involve the police, can we meet at McDonald's? How long does it take to get there? You have my word. If you can meet me at McDonald's on Cherry, then I won't contact the police. I'm just passing through. I'm headed there now. Now, the thing about it is, there are individuals, you guys, that do weird stuff like that, okay? Right? Oh, it's a scrolling message. Okay. Well, there are individuals that ask for ransom and stuff. When you find out, right, that a child is missing, there's some really weird people that absolutely will come out and do weird stuff. And we are going to talk about this case again, I promise. But right now I've been on here 2 hours, and so I am going to hop off here. I just kind of wanted to talk about it again and get the facts out there. So trigger warning, remain calm does say things that you guys will probably have to put your little earpieces in so you don't hear it. But sometimes Sometimes you got to speak it the way that it is said. Sometimes you have to say it the way that it's been done. And I can't help it if I'm told to add suitability. That's the problem. Add suitability. How do you add suitability to a man taking a 13-year-old little girl into a burned out building and raping her and cutting her hands off and slicing her throat to where it almost decapitates her? How the fuck do you add suitability to that? How? Somebody enlighten me. Because it's hard for me to do. Very hard for me to do. And I hope he lives. And I hope they put him under the jail. But like I said, don't forget, Darnell, they're saying he admitted to it, allegedly. Darnell says that he's seen her the 16th, and left around 12:30ish, him and his cousin, because Keimani was afraid that someone was going to break into the house. Grandma finds her gone on the 17th. Grandma finds her glasses that she allegedly can't see unless she has these glasses intertwined in her underclothes by a couch in the front of the house. Her pajamas are found in the dining room, I think she said. This is my point. If she's at home by herself and her father figure, Darnell, comes to be her protector because she's scared, why do you only stay an hour and then leave that little girl by herself? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. All right, 2 hours in. I appreciate you guys. Hey, Jenny, I'm leaving. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks for hanging out with me. And I know that I'm sorry. I just don't have a filter sometimes, because sometimes you shouldn't have to use a filter. This stuff is happening to our kids, these sick fucks. All right, peace out, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.